Or guys, I'm making this to give you some reflections after doing my first 10K day. It's been one crazy of a journey with organic dropshipping, and after 3 years, more than 3 years by now, of a lot of obstacles, a lot of pump and dump to attempts of branding. Eventually it worked, but not at this scale. So yeah, I'm gonna give you guys the foundations to what led me to this number, and that's the mindset. So this is gonna be literally the most important factor today, which I would like to talk about. And there's specific, mind frames that pretty much everyone needs to have before getting even the first win, whether it was one sale, 1K day, 10K day, whatever the number was, okay? So primarily it's a mindset, but there's not like a regular video. It's going to be very specific with a lot of context to link it to dropshipping, okay? So unfortunately, nobody really talks about this to begin with, especially in our space. So I'm going to start off with work ethic, okay? I'm actually excited to see what's going to be different from today's mindset video compared to my last year, but because I did a bootcamp last year, so I'm going to literally give you guys the most updated one. Work ethic means PvP, okay? And it's true because we are player versus player. Whoever gets the most posts out without compromising the quality, then on paper, you're going to do better. So obviously there's a few factors like the quality of your account, how big is your account. So yeah, obviously there's a few factors, but for the most part, you could start as a one-man army and pretty much destroy the competition if you have the work ethic that is, competent enough to get the results you're looking for. So what is a good work ethic? Firstly, you need to sacrifice. Once again, this is something it took me literally years. So you cannot expect yourself to truly be locked in, like 100% onto this thing if you have a lot of baggage or a lot of things which are going on in your life. So let's say right now, this is your life. You cannot just add to your life this habit of posting per day for your dropshipping brand or business. You need to actually take it seriously. You need to actually cancel things from your life, whether it is time-consuming habits, low-frequency habits, low-frequency friends, and so on, okay? So it could be things or people. Unfortunately, that's the truth. You cannot just add positive things to your life, okay? You need to actually cancel the negative things first before adding, because you're going to end up being a lukewarm. If you have a negative charge, positive charge, they're going to cancel each other, okay? For that reason, you're better off just canceling the negative things in your life and then adding the positive things like, working out, reading, praying, because prayer is actually one thing I could later mention. It's really important for stress management, and obviously just pumping content, okay? Just work ethic. So there's a lot of things that could be considered positive, and it's different from one person to another. So it's up to you, really, to decide what are these positive things. So I'm not saying you strictly just have to do organic dropshipping all day. It's optional, okay? It's recommended. But the optimal phase would be is just everything links to each other, okay? For example, going to the gym will actually boost your productivity, because whether you have a hard decision that you don't know what to do with, you could just hit the gym, and then you'll be surprised how your mind is just more stress tolerant. You're gonna have better decisions after the gym. That's why people, including myself, I start the day with the gym. Sometimes I wake up really early to get some stuff done with the supplier, and then I hit the gym. Same thing, I try to keep it as early as possible, because whatever big decision I have, I tend to keep it for midday after, I've hit my workout, and then I'm ready to conquer the day. So this is just one example. There's a lot of different things. Preferably don't hang out with, people you don't want to be in their position. It's just the unfortunate reality. You kind of want to, surround yourself with people who have similar mindset, similar ambition, and preferably in the same field. And unfortunately, it's not easy in real life. So, this is actually the second point, is the environment. For that reason, you need to find people even online. It's fine. That's actually the primary reason, by the way, why I started my YouTube, because I cannot even stress enough how important this is. The first 2 years of my journey, it was terrible because I actually couldn't speak with pretty much anyone who's doing organic. Okay, if I were to speak with anyone, they're either trying to sell me something, trying to steal my product, or just trying to use me or waste my time. So, and I was a beginner back then. So imagine, how bad it was even as a beginner versus even as someone who has some results. So the point is, you need to have a very solid foundation, which is built around good environment, good mindset, good habits, inputs that you do every day. Yeah, that's why I try to find good discords, in my opinion, some communities. That's literally step number one. And even with that being said, it's really hard to trust anyone. So actually, that's why I started my YouTube channel once again, to build this community I'm making, and it's completely free. So it's still growing. Okay, I'm not gonna say it's the best. It's actually, I took a break like a month, so now I'm trying to build it back. So if you're interested, you can join. And we also have an affiliate team if you want to feel more involved into a community. That's where it's actually alive. Okay, my inner circle, our affiliate team, is literally my friends. Okay, I pour so much time into them, and we're working on the same brand, which did the 10K day. So if you're interested, let me know on Discord. But that's what you should be looking for if you want to feel like you're involved into something real with people who have like-minded, goals, and will talk to you about like-minded things. Then you need to find them through communities or even programs. Okay. So now that I mentioned these really important points, by the way, sacrificing the negative things in your life before adding the positive things. Okay. I tried to add things to my old life, but it didn't work. It would, like, I would be half doing the thing. Okay. I'm not like 100% into it. So you're wasting time. You cannot expect things to work if you're not all in. That's the harsh reality. You need to actually be the best at one thing. Next thing is the work, like the daily input. So this is, again, which is going to determine your output, because you cannot say that you're done for the day. I've seen a lot of guys, they would just post once and then they call it a day. Guys, you cannot just, do one thing and expect to get everything. You need to constantly be spending your time wisely. And it's fine. At one point, you're going to have a big account. Posting once per day is actually enough. I understand that. But for the rest of the day, you could be doing other things which are going to improve something in the systems, at least by 1%. And that's what I mean. Okay. So every single hour of my waking hours, I try to do something with an ROI. So whether it was improving the copy, improving the website, things with high leverage, like the images, the branding of the store, or just, finding new formats to test. That's a very high leverage task to do. Going on your burn account for hours is actually important. You need to do this on a daily basis. Even if you have a winner, you still need to do it to find new angles, new ideas, new trends, or even new products you could run on the site. So always try to think, how can I make use of this time and place? Place meaning, let's say you're outside and it happens that you have like 30 minutes where, you don't have anything to do, whether you're waiting in your car or something. Just pull up your phone, open CapCut, start editing. Or open your burner, start swiping. Literally, you always have something to do. So I don't like when someone says, I have nothing to do. You always have something to do. Okay. Worst case scenario, you can just get more products, start posting on new phones, other phones. So, because I know people who post like on 3+ phones. I myself have dedicated 2 phones for posting, but I'm actually looking to get a third one very soon. So, unfortunately, there's always something else to do. Was a longer one, but this is really important, and it's all linked. Next point. Let's talk about the foundations of a good mindset. So you cannot just rely on motivation. And the problem is, although this is easy to say, I'll give you a hack to feel motivated. Okay? Although everyone likes to say you don't need motivation to work hard, I know that's true. You need to rely on discipline, but there's actually ways to constructively build a healthy level of motivation, which is going to actually push you to the extra edge that, the other players in the game are not having. You're looking to be the best. So for you to be the best, you need to have this extra urge to be the best. So what is healthy motivation? First, you need to have a vision of how you should look like, speak like, what your daily habits or inputs should look like, what your brand should look like, and so on. So this is not an easy process. It's a very long process, and there's actually proven concepts which people have literally written about for years on how to do it. People like to say that you could pull up a card or a piece of paper, write the things which the best version of yourself has, and type it in a way that you already own it, and then read it when you wake up and before you sleep. This is one proven concept which people have spoken about in the past. There's another one where you make a list of 20 things. It's very similar, but this time it's about the things which you know you should be doing, but you're not doing. And this would actually, it could be 10 things or 20 things, but it's going to actually show you how free you're, like, how much baggage you've thrown away to be able to do these things. So when you write the 10 to 20 things which you know you should be doing to actually get your dream life, you're going to realize that you can't possibly be doing it without sacrificing what you currently have, which is holding you back. And this doesn't need to be something physical. It could be something mental. Mental barriers are very true. It's the harsh reality of this world, okay? What separates winners from losers is literally the mindset. This is actually something which delayed me by 1 year from seeing any results. My first year was just me watching content on my phone, so not like real content like this. I was just watching this 20-second reels, thinking that I'm learning and not executing on it. And then the biggest problem was the mindset. I wasn't actually building the mindset which is required to actually own or be the person who's capable of making 1K day or whatever number day. It's really important to find a way to just visualize how you should look like, what you should be doing on a daily basis if you were the person who's making like crazy numbers. So this is going to help you to have a visual identity of how you should look like. And the best part is this is possible. When you start taking action onto these things and mimicking, the whole point of visualizing is to mimic that person without you being that person yet. So this is a beautiful thing, by the way, because this is very similar to law of attraction. You're literally doing the things, although you don't have them yet, but you're doing the habits which the best version of you would do at a much higher place. So naturally, you're going to just be connected to that version, okay? You're going to literally upgrade your life to become that person because you're going to take better decisions and you're going to make better use of your time. So these are important. Next point is going to be energy. Something which is, once again, very underrated because everyone thinks it's all about time. If you think it's all about time, trust me, 1 to 2 hours is literally enough if you have the energy for it. And that's the hard part. It's not the time, it's the energy. So energy can be preserved, it can be lowered, or it can be increased based off multiple factors. So, for example, opening your phone, swiping, reading the latest, news of the day or whatever, or just reading what's going on, like watching the next, goal or whatever, all this type of stuff, okay? Things which doesn't directly affect your life. This type of stuff will lower your energy. You're literally putting other people's worries into your mind rather than thinking about your life. So it's really important to preserve your peace, your energy. And this is by far the most important thing about the mindset. There's ways to increase your energy. Once again, doing positive things for yourself. like hitting the gym, eating healthy, sleeping, getting some sunlight, reading, or just learning something new. This is all going to increase your frequency and energy. So, yeah, really important. And you would be surprised because many people don't even know that they're consuming their energy, okay, until they realize how better their energy can be if they were to sacrifice the bad things they're doing. So, once again, if you are the type of person who scrolls a lot, watches the latest trends and stuff, especially when it doesn't affect your dropshipping journey, cut it off. I literally don't even have IG on my phone for my personal IG. I just have it for the products. So yeah, it's really important to preserve your energy and protect it at all costs, okay? Next thing is, since we're talking about the foundations, so one was how to constructively build this motivation, which is knowing that you can become a person and striving to look like that person and be like that person and have the same acquisitions as that person. This will give you the fire to do that thing. And then protecting your energy, so not hanging out with the wrong people, staying with people, talking with people who have the same ambitions, all this sort of stuff. Next thing is going to be doing what you actually say. And this is not easy. It's actually it's like a process. It's an ever-growing process which you have to do. It's like a promise that you need to have with yourself. Some people like to call it as an iron will or iron mind. There's many words. I'm just gonna put it this way because it's like very brief to type it this way, but the point is meaning what you say and saying what you mean, okay? So this is, once again, easier said than done, but I'll give you some personal experience on how you could actually practice this. And I myself am practicing this on the daily basis. Personally, staying up late at night to get my posts out is really important. So I try to, say that I want to post twice or 3 times or whatever, 5 times tonight. So the moment I say this, I'm basically putting myself accountable to getting these numbers out. So this is something which I constantly do on a daily basis. And it's fine, by the way, to fail it. Why? Because you're actually going to feel the guilt and that's going to push you on the day after. But not saying it to begin with is a problem, because if you don't set targets on a daily basis, then you're just, moving with wind. You don't have a target. So you could be, you could be moving by emotion rather than by discipline and rationalism. So instead, I like to set a target every day. And by the way, 2 to 3 times per day is simple. But the problem is, the more you grow the pages, it's different from one product to another, but it gets harder at a point to actually have different formats. So that's why I try to, challenge myself and find more formats. Try to set these daily tasks by saying them, okay? Whether it was to yourself, to your friends, to your team, whoever it was, your brother. And if you feel guilt for not doing it, then you're doing the right thing, because you know that you're accountable. You're not just saying things and not meaning them. If you actually feel bad about not doing it or doing 70% of it and not finish the full thing, is good, because this will make you actually, like, whatever emotion you get on the day after, in my opinion, you can use it to your advantage. So let's say you do 20% of what you had originally planned for, you're going to be enraged the day after. So you could use this rage to actually post more or get better quality out. Energy cannot be created or destroyed, so you got to pour it somewhere. Better pour it into work. So yeah, try to mean everything you do or say, and just strive to be better. And by the way, the beauty of this, is that if you set the goal so high, you could end up doing half of it, which technically is not meaning what you said, but this half of what your goal was is actually bigger than many other people's goals. Let's say, for example, the average person has a goal of posting once or twice per day. Your goal was to post 5 times per day, and you posted 3. So although you didn't reach your goal, you still posted more than others. So it's a win. And that's why it's important to have big goals, okay? Let's see. I could go for this for hours, with hours, but I'm trying to give you guys the most important things. I want to talk about something which you wouldn't expect, but being humble is actually very important. Being humble means actually wanting to put the work, regardless of how humbling it was. Now, the problem is, this was more important 1-2 years ago than today. But I'll give you more context now. 1-2 years ago, you would have to, find products, prepare the lights, record it, and then improve your, hand movements and so on, which is a humbling process. Nowadays, unless you're running a physical product, which you actually film, 70, if not more, percent of the time, you're actually just doing everything with AI or stitching, which people have been doing for the past 2 years. So, what do I mean by humbleness? I see a lot of guys, especially they do it with, the unethical route, and then they brag a lot about it. So the problem with it is that, in my opinion, right now it's an ethical game. It's a spiritual game. It's like you could be making a lot more if you actually run these products and marketing angles, which could actually make you a lot, but at the cost of your soul. So my point is, whether you did it, ethically or unethically, always be humble because you're blessed, okay? Whether it was 1 sale, 10 sales, whatever the number was, always take things humbly and strive to become a better person. Because the moment you think that you're on top of the world, that's when you stop learning, okay? That's the most harsh lesson about it. A lot of guys, pride makes them fall too quickly. So yeah, this is a new message which I don't think I mentioned before, but it's really important because I follow this, okay? I try to be as humble as possible with everything since day one. That's why I tested a lot of products which a lot of guys, even people around me, would have never believed it would work. But the moment it works, everyone believes that it was a good product and they start, praising for it. But it's just how it is, guys, okay? A lot of people will doubt you, whatever the product was. Back then, it was way more humbling to do these things. Nowadays, it's like 50-50. It obviously requires you to be humble in terms of the work ethic. So if you're making 0 sales, getting billions of views, a lot of people would quit. But if you're humble enough to accept that you're not making sales because you're doing something wrong, then you're going to look for improving. So you're going to reach out, for example, or you're going to just create better content, better CTAs, better product, better website. You're going to start looking for things to improve. So I see people, the problem with humbleness is that it's not even about how far you've gone, okay? Humbleness applies to whether you're making 1 sale per day, 10 sales per day, 100 sales per day, whatever number it was per day. You need to always be humble to learn more. So this is something which I live by. It's really important. So yeah, the final one, I guess. Maybe I can include more, but delusional. Usually I start with delusion, but you could call it delusion or belief. So you need to have such a strong belief system that's gonna make you look crazy or delusional when, going through this path. This is like a prerequisite, by the way. This is a prerequisite, and I respect everyone who has done, gone far with dropshipping, because I know that this is a prerequisite to make it work. So that's a final note for the day. It was a very important video, boys. Bit of a different one, but hopefully you've watched this far because this is really important. And if this was helpful, let me know. Let me know also what would you like to see next, because I'm going to be posting once again. I have some questions about Facebook. I'll make a video soon about it. And yeah, if you guys have learned something new, join my Discord, subscribe. And once again, for the affiliate program, if you're interested, only serious members, we're going to accept like a few more, okay, to, build this team together. It's not like a pump and dump thing. We're building this for the long term. So yeah, if you're interested in a long-term thing where we're all gonna win together, then let me know. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one.